and welcome back to my channel. As promised, we are back. Well, I'm back. I feel great. I've straightened my hair. I feel so good right now. I'm back, baby. I'm back. Back with a bang, because today I will be showing you what NYX's Can't Stop, Won't Stop foundation looks like on my face and how it wears and all of that jazz. So if you would like to know, then keep on watching. So I'm going to say a couple of things about this, but obviously this is not like super new. I only just got my hands on it. It is £15, this foundation. So it is slightly up there in price. £15 is actually quite a lot for a drugstore foundation. You can get NYX at Boots, Debenhams. I think you can even get it on Beauty Bay. No. This is such a hyped up foundation. There's so many shades. There's like 50 shades in there, I think. Alyssa Ashley helped to curate the darker, deeper shades so they are nice and accurate rather than like super orange and not dark enough and whatnot. She did a fantastic job. Let's just try this out. Let me zoom it in so you can see the coverage. As you can hopefully see, you're not blind. I have acne prone skin, I have oily skin. I'm usually a neutral undertone, maybe leaning towards yellow undertone. I have a pretty fair skin, but I've learned this year that brands have truly expanded their shade range and I'm no longer usually the lightest shade of them all. I'm only telling you all of this because I went for the shade Warm Vanilla. It might be slightly too dark for me. I didn't get the primer purely because A, I get breakouts from primers, and second of all, people online seem to not enjoy the primer. You want to see the foundation, what the foundation wears like throughout the day, and then you can choose your favourite primer to wear with that foundation. As always, I'm just going to start with 2 pumps. There's actually not a lot, but that's a good thing. I prefer to have to press more often than have too much products come out. Product. And again, as always, I'm going to apply half of my face with a sponge and then try applying the foundation with a brush to give you the idea of what it looks best, you know. Let's see. I still feel like maybe I should have gone for like a more neutral, but the shade in itself, like the lightness or the darkness of the shade, is pretty much spot on. And I've taken all of that, so both pumps are now on my face. And for some reason, I thought this was going to be more full coverage. I mean, it does say full coverage foundation on here. NYX. Yeah, this is definitely just ever so slightly too yellow for me. I look like I have problems with my liver. Hopefully you can see that the foundation has not managed to cover my acne on my jaw. My cheeks are a little bit better these days. I still struggle with my jaw. I have this big spot right here, so I'm going to try and cover that up. I'm going to take the foundation again, and I'm taking 2 pumps on my lid again, and I'm taking an expert face brush. Brushes tend to have a better coverage because they don't soak up as much product. I already have a coverage that's pretty much the same as on the sponge side, and I've only used like half a pump. I think I might like this more with a brush, which is surprising because I'm pretty sure that this foundation was advertised with a sponge, like the PR packages were sent with a sponge, and it even covered my spot here. I'm definitely 100% more of a fan of applying it with a brush. Very unusual for me, very unusual. Okay, it is drying nice and matte, but like a very comfortable matte. Conclusion so far: the sponge soaks up way too much of the product and it can give you more of a medium coverage. The brush allows you to like glide it onto the skin, and you can even buff it in and it still gives you a better coverage. The only issue I have is that I have a couple of dry patches on my chin. It's not agreeing with that. It really is it's a very matte foundation, but it's a comfortable matte. Not too heavy at all, to be fair. Right, let's move on to the contour. You'll know by now that I like to test foundations for how they kind of interact with different formulas. Let's see if this foundation is not too matte for cream contour. I like to cream contour with Conceal and Define Concealer in C15. It looks fine, but it was just ever so slightly harder to work with than usual. I usually prefer a slightly less matte foundations because they just mesh with this concealer a bit more, but overall it looks fine. And now let's try some concealer. Not bad. I don't do this very often. I'm actually going to highlight the center of my face. I mean, it worked fine. It just made the concealer a little bit more dry and less moldable. I had a little bit less time to play with it and like bounce it in. Of course, I need to add my favorite highlighter, my current favorite highlighter, Jelly Highlighter from Revolution in Prestigious. Let's see if it agrees with this formula, because if it doesn't, I don't want it. But it does. Oh my god. I just can't get over this highlighter. Thank God this foundation has not oxidized. Everything laid on top of it, great. I'm going to go, it's 10 o'clock, so the wear test has begun. Okay, I'm going to go off of camera, film another video, I think, and then I will be right back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I've just filmed this makeup look. It shouldn't have not taken as long as it did. It took me an hour and a half. The palette that I've used, it was difficult to work with, but more on that on Wednesday. It's 10 to 12. Foundation seems fine. It's still pretty matte. However, I don't know, it might just be me, or I might have not actually applied it as well as I should have. I feel like I rubbed some of the foundation off of my jaw. Am I thinking that? Did I not apply it as well as I should have originally? My forehead seems fine. Everything is okay apart from the fallout. Look how pinky purple my nose looks. This palette, I mean, I love the look, I love the color story, but just okay, I'll see you in a couple of hours. Oh, I'm looking. God, I'm weird. It has been 4 hours. The foundation is starting to get oily. I do have extremely oily skin, and I did not powder this foundation even a little bit. Like nothing. This area here, a little bit on my nose. I do have highlighter on my nose as well, so it'll be harder to judge. I also highlighted my chin. It just looks a little bit different than what it did when it was just highlighted. And I am getting slightly oily here. So basically, matte zone, as always. And I just, see, that's why I don't really straighten my hair, because I just play with it and then it just goes greasy really quickly. Other than that, it looks fine. Obviously, you'll know me by now. I did end up collecting this foundation around my nose. My nostrils have very like big indents, so the foundation, ooh, it's just the blind, but it sounds good. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Yeah, overall, like, it's still holding up and stuff. It's not gonna become my favorite, I already know that, but not bad. 4 hours and getting a bit oily. That's not the best sign, because at the 6 and 8 point, it's just gonna go downhill from now. Looks alright, like I said, just slightly bit shiny, but overall, not bad. This is such a poor quality. Because it's so dark, I might actually flip the camera, because this is such a poor quality. Hold on, let me flip you around. I don't know, is that better quality? I'll have to check later on. I have a mirror just in front of me, and 6th hour has just passed, and like I said in my previous check-in, this will only get worse. So I'm going to take my toilet roll. Yes, that's exactly how I blot. I don't waste my money on blotting sheets. It's useful when you're in a public place, in a meeting and whatever, but you're not gonna blot in front of someone anyway. You're better off just going to the toilet, get some tissue and blot your face. So this is a good test to check if the foundation is transfer proof and how much the foundation will transfer onto the paper. As you can see, I just gave it a couple of taps and I'm not as shiny anymore. By the way, I just started editing my video, this video, and I am very, very weird. And I'm getting more and more comfortable with you guys. So sorry about me just getting even more weird. But yeah, that's who I am. It does transfer quite a lot when you blot it, but that's fine. You know, it didn't, hold on. Did it disrupt my foundation? Maybe on my forehead a little bit. I don't know, you tell me. I think it looks fine actually. The natural lighting is going, so this is only gonna get worse for everything. Just my face is gonna get worse, the lighting's gonna get worse, it's just all gonna fall apart. Oh my god. So far, so good. I had to blot, but it looks fine. So let's carry on. This is probably the best lighting I have right now. It might be a bit echoey. It has been 8 hours since I've put this foundation on. And as you can clearly see, despite my blotting 2 hours ago, I have managed to collect some more shine. Yeah, this area is still matte. I don't seem to be getting worse than I was. But it's not actually doing that bad. Hold on, let's blot again. After that blot, I did manage to rub off quite a lot of my foundation. I don't know, it's still holding up pretty well. I will do a 10 or a 12 hour update. See you in a bit. 10 o'clock, darlings. And I mean, I'm shiny, I'm very, very shiny, but I'm very surprised that the foundation has not rubbed off anymore. It's been 12 hours and usually around my jaw, it does look a lot worse. However, for 15 quid, this foundation just misses a mark for me. For the drugstore, £15, that's quite a lot. It's nice and matte. It covers pretty well, but it doesn't hold my shine as much as it could. The wear is comparable to Maybelline Super Stay 24-hour foundation. That foundation holds up and looks pretty much the same after 12 hours. and it's a little bit cheaper. It's like £10, not 15. It's a good foundation if you're not bothered about spending that £15. It's a good foundation. I really enjoyed this foundation. I love the shade range, but £15, it's just ever so slightly missing that mark. Hope you have enjoyed that. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.